Alright, so I've been using the Google Pixel 8 for quite some time now, and after a month of using this smartphone, I think I've gotten to know it a lot better now. And I just want to share with you guys some of my thoughts on Google's newest flagship phone. Let's get started. Hey, what is going on YouTube? Welcome back to Team VRY. Now, if you've been here before, you probably know that we do a lot of Pixel content. And for this year, I was looking forward to the Pixel 8 and all the cool features that it comes with. So for this one, I just want to give my pros and cons. So I will drop our earlier videos in the description below. And with that said, let's get on with this one. Right, so first up, I want to talk about the camera performance on the Pixel 8. Now using this phone for photos, it's a really consistent experience. If you've used a Pixel phone before, it's going to feel really familiar, especially with the way that Google handles its computational photography for its smartphones. And as far as image processing goes, I'm pretty much satisfied with the Pixel 8 because it gives me the photo quality that I expect from a Pixel phone. Now we do get some new features this time around, such as Ultra HDR. In terms of image quality, I'm noticing that it manages to get more details in shots, especially on human subjects. So far, it's been a pretty great experience in terms of mobile photography. Now this continues the tradition that Google has pretty much established with its earlier Pixel phones, at least in terms of camera performance. Now, one big upgrade this year in terms of the base model Pixel is the display quality. I've had a great time using the Pixel 8 because of the display. Now, it does come with a 120Hz refresh rate, which is a lot smoother than the 90Hz refresh rate on the base model Pixel 6 and the Pixel 7 before it. And it does get a lot brighter at up to around 2000 nits of peak brightness. So outdoor visibility is no longer a problem as it was on a ton of older Pixel devices. And yeah, it's been a pretty great viewing experience. It's great for media consumption, watching videos, scrolling through your social media apps, or web browsing, and it's a pretty solid upgrade. I'm really satisfied with what Google was able to do with its new actual display. Now in relation to this, everyday use on the Pixel 8 is terrific. Now it does come with a new Google Tensor G3 chip, which we'll talk about a bit later. But yeah, for a lot of moderate users who just want a reliable smartphone for everyday use, the Pixel 8 is going to be a very capable device. I haven't experienced any lags or stutters or restarts, and it's been a pretty solid user experience. Multitasking and switching between my different apps and navigating through the user interface were all smooth experiences for me. And of course, the same can be said for the battery performance of this phone. I've been getting considerably better battery performance on the Pixel 8, especially compared to the Pixel 7 and the Pixel 6. Now, a big part of this, I think, has to do with Android 14 because I installed Android 14 on my older Pixels and I noticed that they did get considerably better screen on time, better battery endurance overall, and the same goes for the Pixel 8. So I think the Tensor G3 alongside Android 14 does make for a reasonably good experience in terms of battery endurance. Of course, it's not going to be comparable to something with an 8 Gen 2 chip inside, for example, but for the most part, it's a good improvement, especially over older Pixel devices. Now, something that I've noticed as well is the connectivity. I've had no connectivity issues on the Pixel 8, unlike with the Pixel 6, for example, where there was an issue a while back where Wi-Fi and mobile data and sometimes Bluetooth would randomly stop working and you'd either have to go into airplane mode temporarily or restart the phone to get them working again. I've had none of that with the Pixel 8. It's been a consistently good experience as far as connectivity is concerned, which is of course a very ideal situation. And of course, you do get the usual array of Pixel exclusive features like call screening, spam message filtering, and of course, the very impressive voice recognition capabilities on the smartphone. And yeah, other features like RCS. As for my personal use, I've been able to use RCS pretty seamlessly with some of my friends who are using Pixel phones and even Samsung phones. And yeah, it's been a pretty stable experience for me so far. And yeah, I do think that the Pixel 8 is working the way that Google intended it to work, at least in my case. With that being said though, it is not of course a perfect phone. There are still some downsides, such as the thermal issues. Now it still gets warm, as most Tensor-powered Google Pixel phones do, but I did notice that it doesn't get as hot as the Pixel 7. The phone had a tendency to get real warm even with basic tasks over Wi-Fi. With the Pixel 8 though, I've had less heating, but it still gets warm, especially when using mobile data, which of course can be an issue for some users out there. And of course, we have to talk about the gaming performance on this phone. If you're looking for something really powerful to play Genshin Impact on, you might want to get a Galaxy S23 device or maybe one of the newer iPhones. And while the Pixel 8 will be able to run a lot of games from the Google Play Store, it will have a bit of trouble running sustained performance, especially with graphically intensive titles. So if you're looking to do some really heavy gaming on your phone, then you're going to want to look somewhere else. But that's not to say that the Pixel 8 cannot do gaming. I do play a few games on my phone from time to time, at least for the kind of games that I'm using it with. It was able to perform nicely. But yeah, this is not meant to be a gaming centric smartphone. And one last thing to mention is, it's not really a con per se, but with the new magic editing features that Google has baked into the Pixel 8 software, they do work nicely for the most part, but there are times when I do have a bit of trouble getting them to work perfectly. Of course, it is based around generative AI. When it works, it does work nicely, but there are a lot of times that magic editor isn't really picture perfect, so to say. Sometimes I'd edit something and it will fail to account for elements like shadows in the background, and sometimes the sky editing feature wouldn't work really well. Like, it'll have a bit of trouble trying to change the appearance of the sky. And it's stuff like this that show that Google still has a bit of work to do with the magic editor feature on here. But again, you don't get this on a lot of phones out there. It's not perfect, but when it gets the job done, it is pretty satisfying. So yeah, to sum things up, all in all, it is a pretty solid Google phone. You get all the Google software features, a great camera, the display is a terrific improvement, and the battery performance is better compared to older Pixel devices. But that said though, it is pretty expensive at $700, so you might want to look for trade-in deals, especially with the holidays rolling in. You might want to look for price drops. So yeah, that's one thing to take into consideration. Right, so let me know what you guys think about the Pixel 8. Do you have one yourself? Are you enjoying it so far? Don't forget to sound off in the comments below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.